Tonight's big stories. The Environment Department gets questioned after supposedly allowing the construction of a resort within the Chocolate Hills protected area in Bohol. But the agency says it has ordered for the resort's temporary closure last year for operating without a permit.
Resolution of both houses number 7, which contains 3 proposed amendments to economic provisions in the 1987 Constitution, passes second reading at the lower house.
And for those planning to travel during the observance of the Holy Week, authorities warn of vacation package scams amid rising cases. Know the telltale signs, particularly with online bookings.
Welcome to the show. I'm Ed Lingao.
And I'm Gretchen Hall.
A resort in the middle of the iconic Chocolate Hills of Bohol. That is the big story tonight, something that Filipinos have expressed outrage over online.
Well, Chocolate Hills was among the top Philippine trends on X, the former Twitter, today. This started with this vlog uploaded on social media or by social media user Ren the Adventurer of the resort named Captain's Peak and Garden Resort. The vlog shows this wide swimming pool surrounded with cottages, and there's also a kiddie pool with a slide. All that are parts of a resort located right at the foot of the Chocolate Hills in Bohol. Now, this has gained various reactions on social media, and most of them cannot believe a resort was constructed in the middle of a protected UNESCO geopark and a World Heritage Site. One social media user says she wants the beauty of the hills to be preserved. That's why she is not in favor of this resort continuing its operations in the area. Another described the resort as an eyesore, while another user fears this could lead to more construction within the Chocolate Hills area.
1PH's One Balita Pilipinas got to speak with Bohol Provincial Government's Environmental Committee Chairman and Board Member Jamie Villamor. She confirms that the resort is within the Chocolate Hills Natural Monument, which was declared a UNESCO Geopark. She says the resort's construction was approved by the Environment Department.
I'd like to provide proper perspective and context that even if it was declared as a protected area, titled po itong mga property. So meaning to say, there are private owners. Pero despite having private owners, their development or any construction within the area should be by approval or the limitations set by the DENR. Dun po sa approval nila, there were conditions set, such as pwede silang mag-construct or mag-develop within 20% from the baseline of the hill.
Okay, so I guess we have to establish the facts here. This area was already declared a protected area by proclamation
1037
in 1997. So, but before then, before it was declared as a protected area, syempre meron ng mga na-issue na titles. At sinasabi nga nila na meron ito private private area ito. But the DENR clarifies that even those who have private lands within that area are subject to the regulations provided by the proclamation.
Well, the area kasi is covered by RA 7586. That's the NIPAS law, the Natural Integrated Protected Areas law. I forget what year that law was passed, but it predates a lot of the other things. I understand the family that owns the resort was able to buy the property in 2005, which is around 8 years after it was declared a protected area.
So after na,
Yeah.
pagkatapos na.
It was bought by the family. We can confirm it later. We're talking naman to the family later.
Pero kasi minsan kasi yung may kumbaga na issue na dati pa na titulo, tapos binenta sa next buyer, tapos binenta sa next buyer.
Well, the allegation,
Pwede
at
ganun.
least from what I can see from the readings, is that it was titled even before daw. It was declared a protected area in 1997. But the new owners, the current owners, were able to secure ownership of the property in 2005. But again, we can confirm that later with the administrator and the sister of the owner.
Pero ito gaya na nasabi natin, naglabas na ng statement dito ang Department of Environment and Natural Resources. At ang sabi nila, they They issued a temporary closure order against the resort back in September of 2023, that is last year, and a notice of violation to the project proponent in January 2024 for operating without an EEC or an Environmental Compliance Certificate. Pero ang explanation naman nila sa pagpayag sa construction ng resort ay ito. If a land was titled prior to Proclamation 1037 declaring an area as protected area, the rights and interests of the landowner will generally be recognized and respected. So may pagpayag dun sa construction. Ayun nga lang, wala silang EEC.
Actually, we have to establish that din. To what degree was construction allowed and by whom?
Yes.
Kasi it turns out the claim of the Environment Department now is that there is no EEC. That's a precondition for any kind of construction in a protected area.
Well, in response to the issue, Senate Committee on Tourism Chair Nancy Binay has called for an investigation. In a statement, Binay said, and I quote, "Nakakagalit at nakakadurog ng puso ang makita nating mga nakatayo na resorts sa mga paanan mismo ng Chocolate Hills. Sa unang tingin pa lamang, alam na nating may mali." She added, kung ang mga ahensya ng gobyerno na may tungkulin at responsibilidad na pangalagaan ang Chocolate Hills ay may pro-environment mindset, ang tanong po natin, bakit nakapagpatayo ng resort at meron pang cottages at swimming pool sa isang classified natural monument sa ilalim ng NIPAS at isang protected UNESCO Geopark? Yun nga naman ang katanungan, ano? Bakit nga ba nangyari? Bakit nagsimula ito? Well, let's hear the side of the resort in question. And joining us tonight is Julieta Sablas, manager of Captain's Peak Resort. Magandang gabi po.
Magandang gabi po.
Yes, magandang gabi po.
Okay.
Yes, good evening.
Unang-una, ang sabi po ng DENR, kayo po ay nabigyan ng TRO no September 2023. Totoo po ba, na-serve po ba nila sa inyo yun?
Yes po.
So meron po, oo. Ito pong video ay kailan po ito nakunan? Yung nagva-viral po ngayon dun sa vlogger po natin.
Last week lang po, ma'am.
Last week lang, oo. So hindi pa po nagsasara,
Last week.
kumbaga, ang Captain's Peak Resort.
Yes, ma'am.
Oo. Bakit sa kabila nung TRO ay hindi pa po nagsasara kung meron na nga pong ganyan na na-serve ang DENR?
No comment po dyan, ma'am.
Ano po? No comment daw. Ma'am,
Yes, no comment po.
Ma'am, naintindihan ko naman po kung ayaw nyo magkomento sa ilang mga tanong. Pero at the very least po, baka ba nyo sabihin sa amin kung ano po yung mga mga permit na nakuha ng inyong organisasyon o yung inyong negosyo at kung kanino po nakuha yung mga permit. Kasi ang understanding ko po doon sa mga nakaraan yung interview, nakakuha raw kayo ng mga permit sa mga kinukulan. So, sino po yung mga nagbigay sa inyo ng permit at anong klase pong permit ang naibigay?
Before po kami nakakuha ng business permit po sa LGU, doon po kami mag-propose ng mga proposal project po namin sa DENR po, sa Barbie Division po.
Sa Protected Area Management Division, sa PANDI.
Yes, sir.
Board. So, nagsabit po kayo ng proposal sa PAMBI. Pero ang tanong ko po, kung kayo po ay nabigyan ng permit ng PAMBI sa inyong project proposal?
Yes, meron po kami mga proposal na nire-reject po nila. Tulad ng mag-construct ng mga matataas na gusali. Kasi meron po kaming dito, parang wala po siyang, ano ba yung tawag, monument ba yun? Oh yes, monument. Na elevated area.
Opo.
Yung proposal po namin, sana doon namin itatayo yung swimming pool, pero nire-reject po nila. So, yung approve lang po sa viewing area namin is yung 2 treehouse lang po.
Ma'am, sorry po, i-clarify ko lamang po. So, ang sinasabi po ninyo, in-approve ng PAMBI, ng Protected Area Management Board, ang inyong proposal para magtayo ng 3 treehouse? Tama ho ba?
Yes, sir. 3 treehouse po.
In-approvean po yun ng PAMBI. At yun po ay,
Approved po siya.
yun po ay
2018 po. Yes,
2018.
2018.
At yun po ay may kasulatan, I suppose.
Yes, of course, meron po.
Okay, that's good to hear po. Pero po yung swimming pool, for example po.
Yung swimming pool, meron din proposal na nangyari. Kasi hindi talaga kami pwedeng mag-construct pag hindi po approve sa kanila. Ipatigil talaga nila yung pagkukonstruct ninyo pag wala po kayong ano ba?
Pag walang approval.
Wala po kaming
Oo.
permission
Oo.
galing po sa kanila.
Naintindihan ko
Talaga
naman po.
i-approve muna nila bago po kami mag-construct.
Naintindihan ko naman po. Ang sinabi po niyo ay nagbigay po kayo ng proposal para sa swimming pool. Ang tanong ko lamang po, kung maaari pong mas klaro, kung inaprubahan po in writing ng PAMBI yung inyong proposal para
Yes.
po sa swimming pool.
Yes po.
So meron pong separate na kasulatan po yun?
Yes po. Yung hindi lang namin na-comply, yung nag-i-issue po sila ng temporary closure po. Yung application po namin sa ACC hindi pa po succeed. Ongoing pa po yung ang nangyari kasi nag-ooperate kami, yung ACC namin hindi pa lumalabas yung certificate. Ganun po.
Yung EEC po sa sa DENR, kumbaga nahuli ito, no? Hindi po prior to construction. Opo. Okay.
Pero ma'am, ano po pasensya po, pero baka lang po magka-problema kayo dahil wala po kayong, kumbaga sabi nga ninyo, inintay pa ninyo yung approval ng inyong environmental clearance certificate. Baka po doon po sumabit legally dahil hindi po pwede mag-operate pag wala pang ECC. Actually, hindi pa po pwede mag-construct pag wala po pong ECC, lalo na po sa protected area. Yun po yung magiging tanong kung sakali sa inyong sitwasyon ngayon.
Ulit po, hindi ko nakuha.
Ay, sige po, ulitin ko po. Naintindihan ko po siya sabi ninyo, pero ang baka lang po magka-problema kayo doon sa issue na kayo po ay nagtayo ng establishmento na wala pang approval ng inyong environmental clearance certificate. Kasi po, isa pong requirement ng ECC bago po kayo makapag-construction, lalo na sa isang protected area. Bagamat meron kayong PAMBI approval, kailangan pa rin po ninyo ata ng ECC. Kasi bahagi po ng proseso yon.
Yes, yun lang po ang hindi namin nagawa na i-process pa namin bago kami mag-operate.
Okay.
Pero yung mga permits po namin sa pag-construct, ibinigyan na naman kami ng mga building permits galing po sa LGU.
Sa LGU po.
Yung construction po, meron na po kayong permit galing sa LGU?
Yes. Yes po.
Okay, so both LGU and the DENR issued permits. Okay.
Ma'am, ito lang po.
Yes po.
Example po yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina na yung importante po yung kahalagan po ng environmental clearance certificate. Sa batas po sa RA 7586 Section 12, no activities will be allowed without an ECC sa isang protected area. In which case po, protected area po yung inyong kinalalagyan. So, yun po, baka magka-problema po kayo doon.
Yes, ongoing na po. Nasa kalagitnaan na po yung pag-process namin.
Oo, yun nga lang po, no? Nakalagay din po na regardless of existence of private rights, no activity of any kind, including quarrying, which will alter, mutilate, or deface or destroy the hills shall be conducted. O bakit niyo po ituloy itong pag-construct ng swimming pool? Siguro gusto rin po maintindihan ng mga netizens, bakit nga po ganito yung naging proposal po ninyo na magtayo ng swimming pool sa gitna ng Chocolate Hills. Ito nga po, pinagmamalaki natin ng buong bayan, di ba? Kumbaga yung yamang kalikasan po natin, ano pong nasa likod nung mga inisip at ginagawa po ninyo dyan?
Yung sa amin po, pag nandito po kayo sa resort po namin, yung makikita nyo po is legally na nakapasok po siya sa proposal na 20% po. Yung nakita nyo po yung slide namin na medyo elevated po siya. This is po the second time na na-trending ang Captain's Peak Resort. 2023 po. Ito po yung first time na na-trending at saka nagpunta po dito yung DNR PAMB. Parang demeasured if we are violated the measurement from the premises of the Chocolate Hills, but luckily we are not.
So sinabi po nila, so nag-imbestiga na po ang DENR tsaka PAMB. So sinabi po nila nung unang pagkakataon na hindi po kayo nagva-violate. Tama po ba?
Yes, 2023 po. Nag-trending po ito sa 2023 po.
I think September.
Yung the Captain's Peak Garden and Resort. This is the second time.
Yun po kasi ngayon, bumabaliktad po yung istorya ng DNR.
Opo, kasi ang sabi
Medyo
naman ng
mahiwaga po.
ng DOT, wala daw po kayong accreditation, that's number 1. Sabi naman po ng DENR, nag-issue na raw po sila ng TRO sa inyo. At sabi naman po ni Governor Aris Aumentado, we have asked DENR and PAMB to change its policy. Ito po ba ay ikinagulat po ninyo? Yung mga sinasabi po nila?
Yung sa amin po, yung mga policy nila noon na nag-sanction po kami ng project sa kanila, yung mga structures po namin. Sa ngayon po, sabi nila, parang they make it deeper pa kasi ang dami daw talagang mayroong mga regulations sa DNR na hindi nila nagustuhan. Pero yung sa amin lang po, yung aming dito po yung meron kaming Chocolate Hills, talaga namang iniingatan po namin. Kasi ito po yung treasure po namin sa Bohol. Hindi po namin gagalawin po ito.
Oo, kaya lang nag-construct po kayo doon. Nakitang-kita po may slide po sa mismong Chocolate Hill.
Yes, makita nyo po, hindi naman sa gitna. At the middle po, siya parang valley po. Yung sa gilid-giliran, makita mo yung sa gilid, yung makita mo yung mga Chocolate Hill sa gilid niya. Pero yung sa gitna, yun lang ang pwede namin magamit kasi paano na naman yung owner ng properties po, palagi po kaming nagtatax every year. Pagkatapos yun lang maliit na parang pwede namin magalaw, ginamit na naman namin kasi ito yung properties ng kapatid ko, title po siya. Sa pagbili po namin, i-title talaga po yung properties.
So kayo po ay may-ari din?
Talagang in the name po, under po sa name ng kapatid ko po, yung Master Mariner po.
Well, ako po, naintindihan ko naman po ang inyong sitwasyon dahil kahit papano, yan po ay pag-aari ninyo. Pero sa kabilang banda naman, may limitasyong nilalagay ngayon ang batas doon sa mga lugar kagaya po ng sa inyo. Doon lang po, ayoko nang mapaginitan po kayo. Pero matanong ko lang po kayo, kayo lang po ba ang resort na nakatayo diyan sa area ng Chocolate Hills? O meron pa hong ibang mga nagtayo, kagaya po ninyo, ng resort sa Chocolate Hills?
Sana lahat makita nyo po yung mga resort po dito. Kung talagang Captain's Peak lang po ba ang nagawa ng ganitong nasa Chocolate Hills po. Meron pang mas malala pa po dito, sir.
Ganon. Ano po, mga ilan po? Tsaka gaano kalala? Bakit niyo po nasabing malala?
I will not mention the resort. Pero kung gusto niyo po kayo na mag-iimbestiga para naman makita nyo na fair talaga yung desisyon ng lahat ng mga tao. Kasi yung po sa amin, yung gusto ko po, yung mag-i-investigate, hindi lang po sa video, pero mas sana,
pumunta
actual
dyan.
po, nandito po sila para makita nila kung talagang nakalabag po kami ng Chocolate Hills.
We understand po. Okay naman po, we will not ask you for kung ano yung pangalan ng ibang resort kasi siyempre hindi rin naman fair yun pag papangalan natin. Pero
Yes.
mga ilan po? Mga ilan po yung sasabi niyong mga resort na nakatayo sa Chocolate Hills?
2.
May 2 pa po.
They are older than the Captain's Peak Resort.
2 po bukod po sa inyo. Tama po?
Yes.
Okay.
Mas malala pa. Pero yung ano lang po, siguro pag you are ordinary you are ordinary people in this institution, siguro sa business, parang, I don't know, I'm emotional at this time. Parang
Yes, ma'am. We understand po.
pahirapan po nila kung paano tayo mag-comply ng certificates po.
Okay. Ma'am Julieta, ito po, kanina may nakita po ko na post, no? Yung ng Captain Speak na meron pong swimming meet na nangyari po dyan noong February. I-confirm ko lang po, no? Nangyari po ba yan dyan sa inyo, yung sa swimming pool po ninyo, yung provincial meet, Bohol Provincial Meet Swimming Competition?
Yes po.
Oh, nangyari po yan sa inyo?
Totoo po yan.
Tapos,
Yes.
sila mayor nandyan din po, nagpunta dyan?
Yan, may picture pa.
Hindi, galing po sa sa third district po yon sa Carmen. Hindi kasama yung LGU sa bayan.
Ang tingin ko lamang po na punto ni Gretchen ang ibig niyo pong sabihin hindi naman patago itong inyong resort. Kumbaga ito'y lantaran at ito'y alam ng mga opisyal na lokal at ito'y pinapayagan ng mga opisyal diyan sa Bohol.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Okay.
Malinaw
Sige.
po yun.
Well, ma'am, sana po maayos ang problema at sana ay makakuha kayo ng mga kailangang permit kung mabibigyan man, pero sana maayos ang problema.
Yes, hopefully. Pagbigyan nila kami kasi kawawa naman yung may-ari, yung kapatid ko maghanap ng pera sa ilang buwan po sa barko pagkatapos ganun-ganun na lang. Sana mapabigyan nila po kami ng linaw po sa issue.
Okay, maraming salamat po. We look forward actually to sending a crew over there to investigate on the situation. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining us all the way from Bohol, Ms. Julieta Sablas, manager of Captain Speak Garden and Resort.
Maraming salamat po.
Well, up next, President Marcos seeks to boost the Philippines' cooperation with Germany in areas including maritime defense. More details on that trip to Berlin. When the big story returns, keep it here on One News. Welcome back. You're still watching the big story here on One News. In his 3-day state visit to Germany, President Bongbong Marcos is seeking to expand defense cooperation between the Philippines and Germany into new areas such as maritime and cyber domain. In a joint press conference with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, Marcos said he was pleased with Germany's increased interest in enhancing maritime cooperation and welcomed more initiatives to enrich their partnership. The president cited Germany's generosity in providing training for the armed forces of the Philippines since 1974, when the two nations signed a deal on defense cooperation. He also thanked Germany for its continuous support for the capacity building of the Philippine Coast Guard. Now, prior to Marcos's arrival in Germany, transport agencies of the Philippines and Germany signed a joint declaration on strengthening cooperation in the maritime sector to facilitate maritime trade.
And I express the Philippine government's openness to discussions and cooperation that go beyond training and into new areas such as cyber and maritime domains.
The president likewise questioned China's principles regarding the issue of the West Philippine Sea. The president and Chancellor Scholz emphasized the importance of recognizing the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS.
But the premise is something that we question. And with that premise that China has made is that their territory is follows what is now described as a 10-dash line. This is not recognized by any country, any international body, certainly not by the Philippines. We have the economic zone that China has already intruded upon, and until that premise that China has made in terms of all its discussions with the Philippines, then it's very difficult to see a way forward.
We also had a detailed exchange of views about the recent developments in the South China Sea. Here again, it is about adhering to international law, ensuring the freedom of navigation. And we are working to ensure that the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea is being adhered to by all its parties that have signed up to it. Peaceful development and the peaceful settlement of conflicts and disputes is important here.
Aside from building up security ties with Germany, President Bongbong Marcos also secured several investments which would help the country's economy. Let's get more details on this from Maricel Halili, who's in Berlin, Germany right now. Mase, what do you have for us?
And this is the last day of President Bongbong Marcos here in Berlin, Germany. He will then be heading to Prague, Czech Republic for a state visit. But before his visit here in Berlin ends, he greeted the Filipino community here. In facing the Filipino community in Berlin, Germany, President Marcos emphasized the continuous encouragement to investors from various countries to enter the Philippines. This is meant to provide more jobs for Filipinos.
Biyahe po kami ng biyahe at sinasabi namin sa mga ating mga kaibigan sa iba't ibang bansa na mag-invest kayo. Doon pumunta kayo sa Pilipinas, maglagay kayo ng negosyo ron. Kung may negosyo man kayo, palakihin pa ninyo dahil marami kaming pinaplano.
According to Marcos, it's not difficult to convince foreign companies to hire Filipinos because of the good reputation built by OFWs. In fact, among the agreements signed here in Berlin is the cooperation between TESDA and its German counterpart for the enhanced vocational training of Filipinos. The president also emphasized the significant contribution of OFWs to the economy. In 2023, OFW remittances reached $33.5 billion or over 1.8 trillion pesos.
Government is committed to supporting our overseas Filipino workers and the broader Filipino community abroad. We are working tirelessly to ensure that you are treated with the dignity and the respect that you deserve.
Before this, PBBM spoke with the business sector of Berlin. There, Marcos was shown the 8 agreements of private companies interested in investing in the Philippines. These includes renewable energy, manufacturing, and healthcare sectors. If this pushes through, approximately $4 billion or more than 220 billion pesos worth of investments will flow into the Philippines. The president also emphasized the importance of Germany's support for the Philippines' free trade agreement with the European Union. He also requested their support on issues regarding climate change and energy transition. There was also a meeting between President BBM and various German companies. These include Siemens AG for the improvement of the healthcare sector for Filipinos. President Bongbong Marcos is expected to stay in Prague, Czech Republic until March 15 before flying back to Manila.
Maricel Halili reporting live from Berlin. Maraming salamat.
The observance of Holy Week is fast approaching. For sure, marami na po nagpaplano ng kanilang pagninilay at bakasyon. And for those looking for cheaper travel or vacation packages, be careful. There's a lot of scammers around. Let's find out more about that from Gerard de la Peña. Gerard, tell us more.
That's right, Gretch. We actually got to speak to a victim of a travel scam, which is said to be gaining traction as the Holy Week break nears. Robert, not his real name, booked a travel package to Hong Kong for his family through the page of an alleged travel agency on social media. Robert said that he was asked to pay 200,000 pesos for 7 people and was enticed by the offer because it was lower compared to other travel agencies. But when he had paid 90,000 pesos, Robert started to doubt when the alleged travel agent suddenly asked for additional payment.
Sabi niya, may di-discountan daw. Oh, must be the baggage, the insurance. Oh, bayaran mo na today, di-discountan ko yung parang less than 2,000. So, tataka na ako, wala namang ganun ever since na nag-transact tayo sa agency. Chinek mo na lahat, makikita niya na, yung babayaran mo, fix na yun eh. Oo, wala ka nang kailangan baguhin doon, kaya nagtataka ako.
That was until the person Robert was talking to stopped responding and the travel agency also disappeared from social media. He also didn't get back the 90,000 pesos he paid. According to Scam Watch Pilipinas, there are 14 emerging travel scams today. These include offering fake accommodation in hotels, cheap travel deals, and allegedly free vacations. There are even fake travel agents selling expensive tour packages and selling what they claim are lost luggage.
Isa lang yung layunin nila, to deceive us of our hard-earned money. Kukunin na yun, pati yung information. So nakita namin ngayon na lumalala na siya.
The Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, however, expects that this will spread even more as Holy Week approaches.
If we will follow the last holiday seasons, sa early days before the holiday itself, there is a potential increase. And then during the holiday itself, magda-die down.
According to the Philippine National Police, there have been almost 500 cases of travel scams since 2021, the majority of which occurred just last year. Gretsch experts said that we should not always believe in offers of free or cheap hotel accommodations. This also goes with offers of cheap airfares as well as tour packages, and that we should always see to it that we are dealing with legitimate travel agencies that are accredited by the Department of Tourism. In case that we fall victim to these scams, we should immediately report it to the Cybercrime Investigation Coordinating Center. Gretsch.
Well, that's a great reminder for everyone, especially with the coming holidays. Thank you very much, Gerard de la Peña. Bok, naalala ko yung na-scam ako sa Facebook eh. Bumibili ako ng parang Starlink equipment. Ang masasabi ko lang, napakagaling na nila. Kasi alam na alam nila yung mismong tawag dun sa, parang hindi mo akalain mo, pagkala mo pag scammer, hindi siya masyadong aware. Pero kahit may nagbebenta ng dog food, iba't ibang klase, may nagbebenta ng bigas, iba't ibang klase. Sigurado ako dito rin, kumbaga kahit inaral na nila mabuti para maloko ka talaga. Tapos maglalagay sila ng maraming reviews dyan doon sa page para makita mo at mapaniwalaan mo.
Kaya nga siya scammer kasi masyado siyang aware. Kaya ka na-scam dahil hindi ka aware.
Yun na nga. Tapos naalala ko pa, ipe-pressure ka pa niya na dagdag mo na to. Tapos pag dinagdag mo yan, naku, malaki na, sobrang laki yung mamimenos. Tapos magugulat ka na lang kasi nakapag-down ka na and you felt like you were dragged into it. So, beware sa mga ganon. Mas magandang pumunta na lang po tayo sa official pages. If you can, book your own or magpa-recommend na lang po kayo ng talagang tiwala.
Makinig po kayo sa merong malalim na pugon.
Sa naloko na.
And up next, former President Rodrigo Duterte blasts the Marcos administration's push for charter change, saying the goal is for term extension. We discuss the former president's claims when the big story returns. Keep it here. You're still watching the big story here on One News. The lower house has approved resolution of both houses number 7 on second reading today. During their interpellations, minority lawmakers asked if there are enough safeguards since foreign restrictions are being eased. There were proposals to retain the 60-40 limit for basic education institutions and to ease ownership rules only for colleges and universities. There's also the suggestion to exclude China and other so-called risky investors through the enabling law for the proposed charter amendments. This is to address concerns on national security. Meanwhile, it is not clear what comes next after the House approves the resolution on third and final reading, which they plan to do by next week. For now, House Committee on Constitutional Amendments Chairman Rufus Rodriguez has dispelled concerns on last-minute insertions at the bicameral level. He says there will not be any chance to alter anything since the measure is meant to be identical to Senate's RBH number 6.
One prominent voice against ChaCha is that of former President Rodrigo Duterte, who expressed his opinions in another prayer rally yesterday. What do House lawmakers have to say about that? Let's ask our News 5 correspondent Marian Enriquez. Maan, go ahead.
Branch House lawmakers defended efforts to amend the Constitution after former President Rodrigo Duterte claimed it's being used to prolong term limits. The former president blasted the push for ChaCha during the prayer rally in Liwasang Bonifacio yesterday, organized by supporters of Kingdom of Jesus Christ leader Pastor Apollo Quiboloy.
Sila lang naman yan yung gustong mapahabain ang termino nila. Wag na wag ninyong pumayag. Palitan nila ngayon. Walang siguro kung mapalitan sunod na eleksyon. Kasi ang gusto nila, presidential Republican type of government.
Congressmen were quick to dispel these claims, saying they are purely sticking to economic amendments.
I don't see that happening. It's very clear, it's in black and white, that we're only dealing specifically with the economic provisions.
We have never discussed a single thing about anything na political, extension of terms, anything political, wala po na pag-usapan.
In turn, they are questioning the intent of these prayer rallies, which they think are being politicized.
I really don't understand the concept of the prayer rally kasi it's becoming a different kind of rally. Umiinit ng umiinit, pero the personalities who are there should be the personalities who are first and foremost na dapat nandyan na tutulong sa gobyerno para ayusin yung mga problema natin. Hindi yung dadagdagan yung mga political tension.
While House lawmakers are busy tackling RBH 7, many are calling to set aside politics. This is mostly directed to former President Duterte. They said his divisive remarks could be affecting the country's image to foreign investors. Gretch.
Thanks for that, Marian Enriquez. Nang hindi ko inasahan pagkatapos ng termino ni Pangulong Duterte, pagkatapos sabihin na, who is this stupid God? Makikita natin siya sa several prayer rallies. Yun lang ang kinagulat ko. Oo. Pero sa kanyang pahayag sa Liwasang Bonifacio noong Martes, may mga binitawan si dating Pangulong Duterte tungkol sa charter change. Halimbawa, sinabi niya na ang unang gumala sa konstitusyon ng Pilipinas ay ang ama ni BBM na si Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Sr. Totoo naman na kinalikot ni Marcos Sr. ang konstitusyon at gumawa pa nga ng bagong konstitusyon. Pero hindi siya ang unang nag-amyenda ng salikang batas. Yan pong ating pagpa-fact check dyan. Oo, ikaw na gumawa nun.
You do remember the 1935 Constitution that was ratified by the Filipino people in I think May 1935. Ang original 1935 Constitution kasi was unicameral in nature. Ibig sabihin, there was only one National Assembly. Walang Senado, walang Kongreso. There were 6-year terms for the President and the Vice President with no re-election at all. Now, in 1940, the Assembly amended the Constitution. That was the first time, I think, that there was an amendment. So, hindi si Marcos ang unang nag-amend ng Constitution. In 1940, the National Assembly, I suppose, through the prodding of then-President Manuel Quezon, amended the Constitution to make it a bicameral setup, meaning meron ng Senado at Kongreso. And that is what Ferdinand Marcos Sr. then used to run for Congress and then eventually for the Senate. So naging bicameral ng Constitution to that amendment at naging 4-year terms yan with 1 re-election allowed. So, in other words, hindi si Pangulong Marcos ang unang nag-amend ng Constitution. The second assertion of President Duterte was that si BBM ang second na nagbalak na mag-amenda ng Constitution. That's not entirely true then. Because, well, unang-una, si FVR, nung panahon niya, sumulpot yung pirma. The move to amend the Constitution by his supporters, some say by him, through a People's Initiative, which was struck down by the Supreme Court in 1997. And then there was ERAP's move to amend the Constitution to change several provisions in the judiciary and in the economy. Although well, he only stayed for 2 years, so hindi natuloy. And then there was GMA's CONAS by GMA, also moved to amend the Constitution. Hindi rin pumasa. And then of course, who can forget that it was President Duterte in 2016 December who created a constitutional committee to amend the Constitution to create a federal system of
Pero di na
government.
niya tinuloy.
Hindi tinuloy, but he got as far as to create a committee and the committee drafted the Constitution in federal form. So it is not BBM who is the second one to try to amend the Constitution.
Maybe they're the ones who have gotten this far. I mean, the farthest.
No, the farthest was may draft constitution na yun. Yung Puno Commission.
Sabagay, ito kasi daw, economic revisions lang.
Yeah, that
quote,
one
unquote.
was an entirely different constitution altogether.
Well, it's good to be reminded of that and get our facts straight, of course.
Anyway, we also have some updates on ongoing proceedings that concern Apollo Quiboloy in the 2 chambers of Congress. We begin with the House approving on second reading the bill revoking the franchise of SMNI, the media arm of Quiboloy's church, the Kingdom of Jesus Christ. SMNI's operations have been put in question in the lower house due to alleged violations of its franchise. Pastor Apollo Quiboloy has been cited in contempt by a House panel because of his absence in their hearings into this matter. As you all know, Quiboloy has also been cited in contempt at the Senate for snubbing the probe into supposed abuses in his church. And earlier today, the pastor's lawyers received the show cause order issued against him to explain why he should not be arrested for contempt. Quiboloy's camp confirms that they received the order at 11 a.m. today. Aside from the pastor's address in Davao City, the order was also sent to the office of his legal counsel in Makati. Now, upon receipt of the order, Quiboloy only has 48 hours to explain why he should not be arrested for contempt over his absence in the Senate proceedings.
At the council on record, tatakbo na yung 48 hours. So we are deliberating still, no? But definitely we will comply with the show cause order.
I think this is the Senate bending over backwards, really far backwards, because a show cause order is not even in the Senate rules. It does not exist in the Senate rules.
So when you're cited in contempt, you're supposed to...
In the Senate rules approved in 2010 and revised in 2012 and 2013, it simply says that when the committee chairman or chairperson can cite somebody for contempt, and so long as there is a second committee member who seconds the motion, and then that passes, that's applicable already.
They can already serve the arrest warrant?
Yeah. It can only be reversed by a majority vote of the members of the committee. In this case, you're looking at the Committee on Women. That requires a vote of 8 members. Hindi naabot yun. So, as it is in the Senate rules, ang kailangan mo lang ay ang boto ni Risa Ontiveros and one more, which she also got. And that's good as go for arrest warrants are concerned.
But they're still giving time to the...
Because on the prodding of the Senate President says, let's give him a show cause order just to make sure na planchado lahat at walang question dun sa due process.
As you mentioned,
kasi at least twice already, the Supreme Court has limited the powers of the Senate to arrest people for contempt.
Well, Senator Risa Hontiveros expressed frustration over Quiboloy's continued absence. For her, there is no acceptable reason for that. Listen into this.
I cannot think of an acceptable reason na hindi siya paarestohin. Lalo na kung mananatili siyang magsabing he sees no reason to honor the Senate's invitation or subpoena or show cause order. Siya yung pinakawalang respeto sa nakita ko pa sa tanang buhay kong nagtrabaho dito sa Senado. He's actually dug his own grave, sabi ko nga. Kung sana nagpakita na siya sa unang mga imbitasyon pa lamang namin, hindi na kailangang umabot sa ganito.
Well, we mentioned that there was a prayer rally held to support Quiboloy in Manila. Aside from former President Duterte, the Vice President was also there. And kasama niya rin dyan ang ibang senador na kaalyado ni Quiboloy na si Robin Padilla, Senator Bongo at Senator Bato de la Rosa. In an interview, de la Rosa says Quiboloy has been a true friend to him and that's why he joined this prayer rally.
Tama yun, bilang kaibigan din ni Pastor Quiboloy. Hindi naman natin sinasabi na wala siyang kasalanan sa mga akusasyon na pinaparatang sa kanya. Bahala ng korte dyan. Meron naman tayong, kung yan ay tatakbo ang kaso, then let the court decide. Kung sa amin lang is, nandun lang kami para ipakita ng suporta sa kanya bilang kaibigan.
A fire broke out at the Philippine General Hospital earlier today. The fire started around 3 p.m. Fire marshals quickly deployed at least 13 fire trucks to protect the 113-year-old hospital. It was declared under control less than an hour later, and by 4:30 p.m., authorities declared fire out. No one was reported hurt from the incident, although several patients and hospital personnel had to be evacuated and transferred to other wards. Authorities are still investigating the cause of the fire. In a statement, the Department of Health says that all government hospitals in Metro Manila have been alerted and are prepared to accommodate patients. The agency is also instructing all its hospitals to review their fire evacuation plans and conduct risk analysis for fire prevention on their premises.
And before we go, time now for a big picture tonight. Barbie may not have won at the Oscars, but she was definitely immortalized, especially in the UK, as Queen Camilla was presented with a one-of-a-kind Barbie doll made in her likeness. The Barbie doll was even dressed in a replica of her elegant ensemble, a stunning blue Fiona Clare dress paired with an Amanda Wakely coat. Queen Camilla was presented with the doll at an event to celebrate International Women's Day with women and schoolgirls who represent hope for women in the future. Well, it's worth noting that Queen Camilla isn't the first royal to be Barbified. In April 2022, Queen Elizabeth became a Barbie in honor of her 96th birthday and Platinum Jubilee, which celebrated her historic 70 years on the throne. Still, a great gesture for the Queen. Pero kanina nagbabasa ako, sabi nila, interesting daw yung timing ng paglabas ng Barbie doll na to. Kasi, yun nga, no, with all the controversy surrounding Kate Middleton now. And the edited photo.
The photo?
Yeah, bakit nga daw parang bigla na lang may ganito?
Mas yung napansin ko, bakit yung mga damit may pangalan?
Oh, syempre, designer.
Pati yung kapa may pangalan. But anyway,
it's a huge step, right? From you know, in terms of acceptance kay Queen Camilla. Knowing her history. Manood po kayo ng The Crown para maintindihan ninyo. In the meantime, that's it for the show tonight. We are One News, all sides, all the time.
Thank you and good night.